Hi, we are from At Home Tuition. In this video, we are going to see comparison of various types of quadrilateral based on its properties with various examples. Explain how a square is a quadrilateral. So you know that a quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. So a square is also a four-sided figure. So we can conformably say that square is a quadrilateral. Next question, explain how a square is a parallelogram. So how will you say square is a parallelogram? You know that parallelogram have two pair of congruent sides, that is parallel sides, and they are also congruent to each other. So in a square also you have two pair of parallel sides and they are also congruent to each other, that is they are equal to each other. So we can say that a square is a parallelogram. Next, explain how a square is a rhombus. So you know that the rhombus, diagonals of a square bisect each other. So in a rhombus also diagonals of the rhombus bisect each other, that is they are equal length. So we can say that a square is a rhombus. Next question, explain how a square is a rectangle. Since in square opposite sides are equal in length, okay, and angles are also at right angles. So if you take rectangle also opposite sides are equal in length and also all the angles are at right angles, that's 90-degree angles. So we can say that a square is also a rectangle. So we can finally say that a square is a quadrilateral, a square is a parallelogram, a square is a rhombus, a square is a rectangle. Next question, name the quadrilaterals whose diagonals bisect each other. Bisect means they are divided equally into two halves. So now if you look at all the quadrilaterals what we have studied, parallelogram, if you take, the diagonals will be bisect each other, and if you take rectangle, the diagonals will bisect each other. In rhombus also the diagonals will bisect each other, and in a square also the diagonals will bisect each other exactly. So parallelogram, rectangle and rhombus and square are the quadrilaterals which have diagonals bisected each other. Next question, are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. So if you take the quadrilaterals whose diagonals are perpendicular bisector of each other is rhombus and square. Perpendicular bisector means exactly, if the diagonals cut exactly, then you should have 90-degree angle at the diagonals. So only for rhombus and square the diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Next, name the quadrilateral whose diagonals are equal. So quadrilateral whose diagonals are equal is square and rectangle. Both the diagonals are equal in length. It's for only square and rectangle. Thus we can say that square is the only quadrilateral which satisfies all these conditions, right? Only for square the diagonals bisect each other and the diagonals are perpendicular bisectors, that is 90-degree angles for each other, and all the diagonals, both the diagonals are equal. So square is the quadrilateral which satisfies all the three conditions. Explain why a rectangle is a convex quadrilateral. So solution. So for a convex quadrilateral, you know that it's a four-sided polygon. Convex means all the angles should lie inside the figure. Okay, on the diagonals also should be inside the figure, whatever the figure it is. So now next step to check whether it is convex is each angle should be less than 180 degree. So now all the diagonals should lie inside and each angle should be less than 180 degree. So now if you look into the picture of a rectangle, see both the diagonals lie inside the rectangle. Okay, so we can say that it's a convex, and then if you take each angle measure of a rectangle, it is 90 degree. So it is less than 180 degree. So we can say that rectangle is a convex quadrilateral because the two diagonals lie interior of the rectangle and each angle is 90 degree. So which is less than 180 degree. So rectangle is a convex quadrilateral. Next question is ABC is a right angled triangle and O is the midpoint of the side opposite to the right angle. Explain why O is equidistant from A, B and C. Okay, so now we'll draw a picture for that. ABC is a right angled triangle. So they have given. So B is right angled, means the angle at B is 90 degree. And O is the midpoint of side opposite to the right angle. You know that the side opposite to the right angle, you'll call it as hypotenuse. So O is the midpoint of this line A and C. Okay, so now it's exactly from B, it's like this. So it's 90 degree. Okay. So now if you extend BO to D, now we are drawing a straight line from BO and it's extended till D. So now if you join this AD and DC, you will get a rectangle ABCD. Okay. So now in this rectangle, AC and BD will form a diagonals of the rectangle, and AD and BC will form a parallel sides of a rectangle, and AB and DC form a other parallel side of a rectangle. So you know that in a rectangle diagonals are equal and they bisect each other. The diagonals are equal, that is AC equal to DB, and they bisect each other, means they are equal. So AC is equal to BD. Okay, so the distance from AO equal to the distance from OC, and also the distance from DO equal to the distance from OB. So it's clear that all the four distances are equal. So we can say that O is the midpoint of this diagonal A, O and C. Okay, so now it's clear that O is equidistant from A, B and C. Because all the distances are equal, we can say that it's equidistant from A, B and C. Next question is, a mason had a concrete slab. He needs it to be rectangular. In what different ways he can make sure that it's a rectangular? So mason is making a concrete slab. He want to make it as a rectangular. So what we want to do, he has to verify all the properties of the rectangle. So if it satisfies all the rectangular properties, then we can make sure that it's a rectangle. Now let's see what are all the properties of a rectangle. So a rectangle is a quadrilateral whose opposite sides are parallel and congruent. So now he wants to check whether it has four sides, and in that four sides, opposite sides should be parallel and they are equal to each other. So all angles in a rectangle are at 90 degrees. Then he has to check all the four angles. Each angle should be equal to 90 degree, that is right angle. Then you have to check opposite sides are equal in length. Okay, so AC is equal to, that is AD equal to BC and AB equal to DC. All opposite sides should be equal in length. Then you have to check for the diagonals AC and BD. So the diagonal should be equal in length. AC should be equal to BD. Then okay, so every rectangle he can check with other conditions. The diagonal should bisect. So every rectangle is a parallelogram with at least one right angle. So it should be a parallelogram also. He can check with all these four conditions. If all the above four conditions are satisfied, then the mason can make sure that the concrete slab is a rectangular slab. Hope you have understood all the questions well. Thank you for watching the video.